Hello, good evening. How are you all doing? See some people in chat already? Hi, Sister Behave. Hi, Sally. Nice to see you. Yes, it is going to be a monster writing session. Today we're not doing Terran's Adventures. The purpose is to write some more things for Questers of Yalpalor for our campaign every Monday. The two of you have been there already. You know how these sessions work. You know what we're looking for. Hopefully, some more people are going to join in throughout. And yeah, so basically, that's what we're doing today. We're writing monsters that belong in the mountains. I started already with the background music. Today it's just to set the tone. It's not part of the game. But if the music is too loud, tell me please, and I will. Oops. If it's too loud, tell me please, and I will increase the volume. Of course, I'll turn it down so that you can hear my lovely voice as we do the monster writing today. So yeah, thank you very much for joining us. Say hi, so I know that you're here. I mean, you just wrote some messages a couple of minutes ago, so I make sure that you are even hearing me, that everything is okay. I do see that my voice is going through. We will begin. So, just a reminder, we're writing monsters in order to be hopefully a part of the game. I don't promise anything specific for any of these monsters, but I do make an effort to make them a part of the game as much as possible. And specifically, these are monsters of the mountains, which have a specific going to have a specific look and feel of monsters that are there in this geographical area in the far south of Yalpalor. It's the south part of the kingdom of Yalpalor. And the purpose of these monsters in the mountains is to serve as a challenge to the players when they go out looking for creatures of chaos. Because the mountains are where chaos comes from. Basically, that's it. That's the one of the it's kind of like a secret of the campaign, although there have been some talk about this before already that you can hear right at the beginning of the campaign, like the very first episodes, and since then it hasn't really been spoken. So basically, yeah, they don't really have to be chaos creatures, Sally. They need to be creatures that belong on tall, jagged, arid mountains. It's not green and snowy, and like the Alps, or the Pyrenees. It's tall, arid. Um, yes, pretty steep mountains, very inhospitable terrain, and the creatures that live there. So it can be intelligent creatures or beasts and animals, something like a wyvern or anything like that, or more uh, creative, off the beat ideas like you usually have. So that's basically this is what we're doing today. Already an idea from Sally, so that's cool. Yeah, okay, a few ideas. I see a few ideas. Cool. We'll get into that, and uh, um, we'll write down these ideas. We'll have like a file of ideas for tonight, and then we'll decide which of them we're actually going to write. Usually, we don't get to write all of the ideas we have, but we try to do as many of them as possible. So these are tonight's guidelines, as always. Everything goes. It can be not just fantasy, it can draw inspiration and elements from other genres and settings. Variety is very good. You can be eclectic, even weird and funny, but not just random for its own sake. Puns are more than welcome, especially when we're naming these monsters. And if you want to write something halfway, maybe keep something unexplained, something that leads to that like hints at some kind of mystery. Sisto, behave. You missed some of it. Are you done with the call? Can I can go over it again if you want to. Just tell me that once you're here, just say so, and I'll say again exactly what you need to know. So, um, Yeah, cool. All right. So I'll just repeat, and I'll say that tonight's purpose is to write down monsters that live on tall mountains, tall, steep, jagged, and arid mountains. So very lots of brown and tall cliffs and large like tall drops, and when you look at it from afar, it looks like jagged teeth. This kind of mountains. They are in the far south of Yalpalor, the southern edge of the kingdom, and this is one of the hubs of chaos in the world. So there could be monsters that have some chaos elements in them, but we can just write mountain monsters, mountain beasts and animals and creatures that live there. They don't have to have chaos elements in them. What I'm thinking is we might want to write just some monsters of the mountains, and then write chaos versions of them. It would be really cool if we could have some monsters, and have like regular versions of some of them, like Sally's, giant spider that she already suggested in the chat, and then some of them we might want to write another version of that, and that'll be also like a chaos monster that can be separate from the regular spider and have some extra properties, making it a chaos aligned creature, right? So that's what I want to create today. So let's already write down the ideas that we've had. I want to write down some ideas for today. So ideas we have. Sally's ideas are a balloon bird. Balloon bird. Second one is a giant spider hunts birds with long flying nets. Nice. Giant spider which hunts birds. So that's very cool. So let's start with just brainstorming some ideas for these animals slash monsters slash beasts. Tell me what else you would create. What else would you write? What kind of monsters would you want to create? And like I said before, if the music is too loud or too low, tell me. I'll turn it up or down as needed. So yeah, give me more ideas. A lizard, a rock elemental, and a lizard creature. A rock lizard. Okay, so let's write down the ideas like separately right now. So a lizard and a rock elemental, and then we can combine some of them. It can, like, the rock elemental could be a lizard, or the lizard could have stony skin, something like that. So all of these ideas can be combined. A rolling rock lizard that creates avalanches by rolling to deter humans. Oh, nice. So let's write this down already. Rock lizard, which creates avalanches. Nice, very nice. Cool. I would also want to have something that's kind of dragon-like, a dragon, but not exactly a dragon. Let's say a drake. You know what the difference between a drake and a dragon is? Dragons are the large, intelligent, mythical beings, right? Oh, look at my hands. There's a shimmer. There's a shimmer if I move my hand just so. See? The green screen acting up. Let's see if I can fix that. See if I can fix that part. My hand goes here. Ah, see? It's starting to. Now. Better, but now you can see the shimmer behind me over here. Nothing ever is perfect. Alright. Just randomly thought of dragons. I might be one secretly myself, but what I want is to some kind of drake. So the drake is like a smaller, stupid version of the dragon in most fantasy creations. Usually in most fantasy games, when you look at stats of creatures, if you see something that's called a drake, it's going to be a smaller version of a dragon. Yeah, Sally is giving us the linguistic approach, always being scientifically correct. Drake is just dragon in a different language. but in most creations, a drake is a small dragon-like creature, right? So I want to have some kind of drake, um, probably. And then I also want to have, separately from all these, table of chaos mutations, like chaos mutations that some animals and monsters could have, and then oh, just add wings to the lizard. We already talked about. Yeah, it could be the same lizard. It could be the same lizard, definitely. But I wanna keep our options open. If you want to combine some of these, you go right ahead and we'll do. So the chaos mutation. The purpose of the table of chaos mutations is to be able to take any existing monster and give it a chaos mutation, making it a like a version of the monster, which is like touched or corrupted by chaos. So that's the purpose. A wind dragon. Oh, nice. Let's update this. A wind drake. Wind drake. Made of wind. Yes, it's an awesome idea. High living dwarves. I like intelligent monsters, intelligent beings that you don't have to even fight. You can talk to them and get directions or do quests for them, right? So, dwarves who live on the tops of the mountains. High living dwarves are like high dwarves, like the high elves who live on the tops of trees. So high dwarves. It's the dwarves who live on the tops of the mountains. They have access to an underground stream, the dwarves, and they're going to feed drakes and dragons with their gold for protection. Okay, let's put it in as another general idea. Some cooperation or symbiosis between some of the monsters. It's not really monsters anymore because it has dwarves, which are intelligent animals, intelligent beings. But we'll call all of them monsters in general. All right, so let's start. Let's start taking specific ideas from here and writing them down. How about you tell me which one of these ideas you want to start with? Yeah, yeah, that's true. Less food per person. Yeah. Also, they're well acclimated to the cold. They're short and stout, and they have more, I think, more natural insulation against the cold, right? Of the mountaintops. Another call. All right, cool. We'll just be back when you can. It's okay. We're waiting. Yeah. So what do we want to start with? What do we want to start with? Which of these options, which of these ideas, or a combination of some of these ideas, do we want to start with? Tell me, please. Balloon bird. Cool. A balloon bird is awesome. I love that. So the balloon bird. Let's balloon bird. That is going to be our first creation for today. So what does it look like? Let's start with the physical description. Tell me, what does this balloon bird look like? A puffer bird. You can puff up when it says of danger. That's cool. It's a lazy animal. It's a thick balloon with wings. Balloon with wings. Wings only direct it. So how does it move? How does it move around? The wings can only direct it, so it doesn't actually lift it in the air. The balloon is what? Is the balloon full of some kind of gas lighter than air gas? Sure. We'll take these ideas. I like the puffer bird actually idea, yeah. So maybe it has two modes. It can walk on the ground and it can puff and fly in the air. Yeah, okay. So balloon with wings filled with a lighter than air gas, and the wings only serve to propel it through the air sideways. They generate no lift of their own. It has a long tail, it grows moss on it like a garden. A long tail and grows moss on it? Why would it grow moss on the tail? That's interesting. Some jellyfish. Oh, so it's like it's dangling down. It has a tail that is the tail is dangling down towards the ground, so it's like like strands of moss growing from it. It is moss. Yeah, okay. Half covered in moss, some of it dangling down in the air below it, making it look kind of like a jellyfish. Jellyfish. The bug arrives, it eats the bug too. Okay, so they eat, I think they should eat the moss. If they're growing moss on their bodies, I think it should be part of the food. It should be part of the food that they eat. So the moss has a surface to grow on, which let's say is far from the ground. So maybe it's protected. The moss, when it grows on the jellyfish, I say, on the balloon bird, it's protected from animals that would eat it, that walk on the ground, on the mountain. So when the balloon bird floats around in the air, the moss can grow safely. And then the balloon bird eats the moss, slowly eats the moss, and lets the moss grow, and then eats it and cultivates it on its body, on its balloon body, right? So they eat. So now I'll start a new section. Let's call it behavior. They eat the moss, which they grow on their bodies. So the moss gets protection because it's not being eaten by anything else. Yeah, it needs very little food. mainly floats around from place to place. Oh, nice. Okay, so now let's call that abilities. It's filled with hydrogen. So if exposed to flame, it will explode. The moss is fire retardant. Oh, nice. That's also good. Yeah. Being of anything else, the moss is also fire retardant. Retardant? Is this retardant? Oh, I think it is with an A. Yeah. The bird is lazy and needs very little food. Mainly floats around from place to place. Filled with hydrogen, so if exposed to flame, it will explode. Cool. I think these birds aren't even very dangerous opponents in the fight. Let's decide why characters would even be interested in them. They could just be a nice thing to describe, you know, something that happens in the around them. But also, it can be something that's either valuable or interesting to the players, or dangerous, right? They serve as some kind of danger or a purpose, but not necessarily because they're a dangerous opponent in a fight. They can't hold their own in a fight. They're very slow, not very intelligent. So Sally is suggesting they will need to gather them to protect a place from flame. So yeah, let's say that treasure, let's say, or reward. some kind of treasure or reward you get from dealing with them. The moss can be used as a fire retardant material. And anyone surrounding the land will learn to explode intruders. Oh, enemies might use the birds as traps. That's true. So we're talking about a danger that they can actually pose. So with abilities, we're not going to have a stat block. They're very fragile. They're not very capable of staying alive if you attack them. Let out streams of gas in the direction of their choice. Interesting. But that would mean that they can move around with streams of gas, which might not be consistent with what we already decided, that their wings are what propel them. So we can decide that they have no wings. Maybe they don't have any wings at all. So they're balloon birds, but they're not actually birds. They're balloon animals. Inhaling hydrogen, I don't think is a good idea. It's not helium. It's not like helium. It's not the same thing. The bird might move in small groups. Moves in groups. Okay, okay. Vehicles from place to place can be found in groups. I prefer them having wings. Producing hydrogen is expensive. I mean, it is expensive, but that's what we decided. They're full of hydrogen. Oh, you mean they don't release it? They just produce it and they keep it inside their bodies. I mean, it's a fantasy game. The energetic calculation here doesn't have to be exact. Doesn't have to come out exactly to what makes sense in the real world. Use it only in extreme circumstances. So they have the ability to do that maybe if they need to get away quickly for somewhere. But I don't think I want them to have so many weird locomotive abilities. You know, I want them to just get around the way we decided. They float with the hydrogen that their body is filled with, and then they move around with their wings. The wings just take them through the air. That's what they do. They move around in groups and they pull themselves to protect the flock. Oh, nice. They so okay. Here they might be protective of an area with many of them in it. Some of them will explode to protect the rest. My protective, that's a weird sentence. It's a weird phrase in the I chose. My protective, they might protect each other. Yeah, so it's not just a group, it's a flock. It's like a whole flock of them. They might protect each other, some of them will go to protect the rest. Nice. A Geodude. Oh, never played Pokemon. Don't know what that is. Alright, cool. So a balloon bird. I like that. I like that very, very much. So it's a flock, but I'm not going to do what I did with some other animals and start drawing dozens of them. That's not interesting. I want to draw one. One of the balloon birds. Let's decide on the stats still. Even though there's no combat stats, I still think we should know how much damage they do when they explode. Not combat, not dangerous in combat, but when they explode, they do 3d6 damage. So quite a bit of damage. Actually, let's say that it's going to be 2d6 damage each, because then I can actually, as a GM, I can introduce like a bunch of them, and then they'll do 2d6 each in a radius of several yards, several meters. Cool. A loon is a kind of a bird already. I would like to remind you, a loon is already a kind of a bird. If you're looking for a cool name, a loon is already like halfway there, I think. I don't know about, yeah. They do some fire damage closely and less from further away. Most damage is by burning. Yeah, I mean, it's a fire explosion. It's 2d6 damage in a radius. You want it to be more in a smaller radius and less in a wider one? I don't think there's need for that. We're not, whoops. I, again, did not uncover my microphone. Now you're probably hearing me better than you did before. I, again, for the third probably time or something like that, forgot to uncover my microphone when I started. Alright, so, yeah, we're not playing 5th edition. I don't want to start making it a specific, like, a very complicated thing where there's a specific radius and then a larger radius. A balloon. Oh, a balloon. Yeah, better audio. Yes, yes. I just forgot. So, a balloon bird, instead of balloon bird, let's just call it balloon. Balloons. Let's see, what do loons look like? What does a loon look like? The bird. It's black and white, spotted black and white, like black spotted with white. And has like red eyes. That's cool. It's a very cool. It's a very cool bird. But cool. Oh, Phalar 04, hey, nice to see you. Concept for a monster, Cavil. They're mountainous undead formed when the dwarf is frozen alive from the winter cold. They're similar to wights, but they get innate ice powers and the ability to summon frost withers, which are flavored shadows that deal cold damage. They're necrotic damage, gain cold absorption, and stealth and sunlight weakness. That's very cool. We're writing them from like an OSR standpoint. We don't get into too complicated rules about what they do, but I really like these powers, and for 5th edition, all of these powers would be like really good. That's a very good design. I am gonna write that down as an idea, though. A very cool idea. Why Cavil? I wonder why the name Cavil. Is it based on something that like an existing word or monster or something? I'm wondering about the etymology there, if it even exists. Frozen dwarves, dwarven undead, who summon. Just a random word. Cool. That's a pretty cool word. Sounds very ominous. Sounds like an undead. Frozen dwarven undead who summon frozen shadows. Very nice. We'll write the stats in a second. We'll write the stats soon. Dwarven mummies. Kind of. Yeah, kind of. I think the white is a very close approximation. It's kind of like the D&D white. Or black skin. Yeah, they all turn like, yeah, black and frozen. Cool. So let's draw a Fey Liar. I think it's your first time here, so you don't know that part of the challenge for me is to draw each idea for a monster that we make. So I'm gonna have to draw the balloons that we just made up. This is a description of what they do. So this is gonna be the first one for today. It's gonna be a very dark gray, like a dark gray, yeah, dark gray, just balloon shape, some kind of bird tail. Whoops. And there will be like a little head with a beak here. And because the loons have weird, creepy red eyes to begin with, I'm gonna give it a weird, creepy red eye. No. More creepy. Yeah, that's better. Now, there's, like, vestigial wings. I mean, not exactly vestigial, but wings that wouldn't really be enough to propel it. To lift it up in the air. It's just enough to propel it a little bit. Um, and then there is a bunch of moss that grows on it. So this is going to be, I think this needs to be the color for the moss hanging down. It's covered. A long tail. The tail needs to be longer. Let's make a longer tail. Make a longer tail. Oh, the moss. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Let's make it a little bit longer. So now the tail is long anyway. The tail is long anyway, because why not? Alright, that's enough. That's quite enough. Alright, cool. That's good, that's very good. I'm very happy with that. Let's let's get ready for the next monster. Steak. Oh, what is this? Yes. Oh. It's not the one I wanted to copy, but never mind, it doesn't really matter. Let's write the Cable. Cable was really cool. I think it was super cool, and I think you all enjoyed it as well. Yeah, definitely. Sally wants that too. I think we all want to write the Cable. So, what do they look like? We're writing down a physical description, behavior, abilities, and then the stats. The last thing we do is we write down the stats, and the stat is like an OSR block, like one or two lines of a stat block. If you want to translate it to 5th edition, it's probably not going to be very hard to do, but you will need to do that. Later on, in the PDF I'm going to put out of the monsters, I might translate some of them to 5th edition. Like, the Cable was like a very cool thing to have a 5th edition stat block for as well. But since I'm using them in my Monday campaign, and it is an OSR game, playing Macchiato Monsters, then I'm writing it down as an OSR stat block, like old D&D. The frozen look the same as dwarves except for the coloring. Barely move themselves. I think they use psychic influence. Mummified dwarves, black shrunken skin. All right, like dwarves. Mummified by the cold, black and shrunken. Yeah, that's basically it. Icicles, still frozen, still stuck to their bodies even when it's warm outside. So in the winter, some of them freeze out in the cold. They become these undead, but then they stay cold. And even when it gets warm, they stay freezing cold. Even when it becomes like summer, they bring the cold with them. So they still have like icicles hanging from their beards to their bodies and their beards. Slow, but the spirits they can summon are really fast. Nice. Okay, cool. So, Cable are slow. The spirits are very fast. So we know that they can summon spirits. Let's write this down here. They can summon ice shadows. Let's call them ice shadows. Getting supernatural plus GOT, it's definitely, yeah. I mean, there's the ice walkers, right? The white walkers themselves, and then the ones that they summon. They're not dead. They're not the dead people who rise as the whites that they summon. They summon the cold shadows out of thin air. But yeah, it is definitely, there's something there. There's something there. Dwarves allow them entry to homes and to try to appease them since they are technically still family. Oh, that's cool. The dwarves consider them to be family so that they so they do not kill them. Instead, they let them I don't know how to call it, like live, do their normal daily lives routine. I don't know. Maybe I mean, let's describe it. Let's get more into that. Yeah, the dwarves is very hospitable. Grant them hospitality, but that's very weird. Let's describe what it looks like. Fail iron. Frostbitten dwarf is loose, blackened flesh. Empty sockets with icy growths around the rim. Oh, empty sockets. That's so cool. Empty sockets with icy growths around the rim. A cold, frozen heart in their open chest still beats with necrotic energy. I love it! I love it! In every large household, there is such a room. It's getting a little bit too complicated, I think. It's very cool. I'm just not seeing our heroes going in and learning about it and getting involved in all this story. It's very interesting. And it might be true. It might actually be true. I think if we get into that, we're getting into too much of the dwarves' inner working. Let's just give it a general description. Instead of describing every dwarven household, let's just say that in general, they consider them to be family, they can't kill them. Instead, they let them wander the dwarven holds on the top of their mountains. Right? So we said that these dwarves don't necessarily all live underground, even though most dwarves are connected to mountains. These dwarves are writing for for this mountain region. They live on top of the mountains, on the tops of the mountains, where it's very, very cold and dry. So they live in open air. They don't necessarily live all underground. Maybe they have some vaults and some storage underground, but mainly they just live outside, and they let these Kevo wander in to the places that they remember are their homes. They don't even know that they're dead. What do they eat? I don't know. I don't know what they eat. It's a good question. Okay, so in behavior, we need to creatures of grief. Yeah, I was just wondering that. How do they die? Do they need to die in a certain way to become a cable? Do you need to die in a certain way, like a ghost? To be a ghost, you need to have unfinished business, or to be a vampire, you need to be bitten by an existing vampire. So how do these need to die? They need to freeze to death. Is that the only condition? Because if you frozen to death as a dwarf, that means that you've been outside alone, right? You've been outside on your post or some kind of alone in the frozen land in fear. Cool. Okay. So they need to die alone alone away from other dwarves. Oh, nice. Yeah. Right. That's very good. Let's write that down in yeah, how do I write it? Ecology. Let's call it ecology. When a dwarf dies alone in the cold, they become a cable. The dwarf seeks out other dwarves in order to imitate its former, in order to not imitate, to be a part of its former community, and however, drives away and tries to kill any other species, right? So they need to be a dangerous opponent, right? They need to be a monster that I can use in a campaign. So if they meet anything other than a dwarf, they are extremely xenophobic to other people. And I also am starting to think that dwarves are kind of xenophobic, although it's kind of classic dwarf, right? It's kind of cliche. I think that's kind of what we're seeing. The dwarves are very community oriented, but maybe they don't really like outsiders. And these Cavo, all they know is that they want to live among their family, their community. They seek them and they try to get in and try to live there like they're part of their original community. But if they see any other species, they try to kill them because they're very protective, just like Sally said. The dwarves are not xenophobic creatures that protect others from the Cable. Yeah, I mean, the dwarves don't like the Cable, of course. They don't like it when it happens to dwarves. Some of them, the children lost and not found in time, can be friendly, or even strangers seeking warmth and parental figures. So in behavior, yeah. So let's write all that down in behavior, actually. Oops. Write this down in behavior. You don't need the ecology part. Rarely, some of them, especially children, can be convinced to think of others as parental figures and consider them family. Nice. Cool. Here's the catch: being close to a cable drains one's warmth. It's not easily healed. Only telling others that seek warmth is dangerous. And imagining a cable center to stress and trouble and being used as sort of an emissary. Yeah. Okay, so let's write down the abilities. Yeah. They eat warmth, which flows directly into their hearts. Exposed hearts. Right, the heart is beating, and it's sucking in warmth, which means that if you're closer to it, you're gonna feel cold. You're slowly drained of your body warmth, and then so they eat the warmth. And what do the shadows do? What is the purpose of the ice shadows? Why can they summon ice shadows? Actually, to drive away intruders, right? Just to drive away intruders. What do these ice shadows look like, though? That is a good question. A fake family. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. The shadows look like other dwarves. That look like dwarves. Yep. They surround themselves with them in order to feel like they're part of a group. Looks like those blamed from abandonment. Oh, nice. These shadows will often look like the dwarves closest to the Cable, whom they blame for having abandoned them to die. Nice. We have enough. That is very, very cool. Let's go back to the original idea by Failire 4. So White's innate ice power is the ability to summon frost withers, which are reflavored shadows that deal cold damage instead of necrotic damage and gain cold absorption instead of shadow stealth and sunlight weakness. Cool. So yeah, generally they deal cold damage. I would like the stats. Well, first of all, let's divide them into two. Stats Caval and stats Shadow. Ice Shadow, sorry, it's an Ice Shadow. Can they still explode into chill pills? I only guess the creepiness in one is kind of a different kind of creepy. I think, let's say that I don't want it to be chill pills. It'll be unnecessarily connected to the specific kind of cold magic from the lake, right? Although, actually, there is something that we know. There is something that we know about the mountains. The lake water is so cold because it is fed by water that comes straight from the mountains. Remember that? Snow melt straight from the mountains comes down at like spring and summer and feeds into the lake, and that's why the lake is so cold, and that's why there's cold magic infusing the lake water. So being connected to the lake kind of makes sense. Chill pills, I think, are too specific. It's too much being specifically something else that they saw, and that would make it like a whole other mystery that I don't know if I want to get into. But I think it's the same kind of cold magic, maybe. Negative energy doth burst. Okay, so that's, first of all, that's very cool. I think their hearts store immense cold energy. When they are destroyed, the hearts let out this cold in a burst. And then that is a cool idea, Sit Still Behave. I wonder if it could be formalized. What exactly do you need to do? You need to get them to forgive those who abandoned them? That's interesting. I wonder how you would do that. I mean, are they intelligent? I don't think I want them to be smart. I don't want them to be intelligent and like to be reasoned with. Yeah, the dwarves do need a way to get rid of them. It's true, without destroying them. They're not allowed to attack them. So somehow they need to be able to get rid of them. That's true. Yeah. So when they're destroyed, the hearts let out this cold in a burst. Yeah. So first of all, we know that they move slow movement. How many hit dice? They should be pretty. They're actually solitary, so they should be tough, right? Let's give them 6 hit dice. Let's give them 6 hit dice. They should be tough, because there's going to be one of them plus a bunch of ice shadows fighting an entire group of PCs. So I think 6 hit dice minimum, right? It should be at least 6 hit dice. No, I don't want them to be intelligent. It'll become another negotiation. I want some monsters to just be dangerous. I want some of the monsters to just be a danger that you need to fight against, find something to do, like to use your powers to subdue them, to fight them, to either destroy them or do something more creative. But if they're intelligent, you know what players will do, right? They'll start a negotiation. They'll start a conversation, and there's not going to be a cool fight. It's just not going to happen. So no, I will not have them be intelligent enough. Even if they can't talk, they're not going to be intelligent. No. Not smart. They're not smart. They have their instincts. They're undead. If someone's able to embrace them and live. Ooh, embrace them. You have to actually hug them? Jeez. Interesting. If you can hug them and live, they thaw, and they thaw harmlessly, and the heart is left behind. In this case, the heart is a powerful reagent. Can be used as a powerful magical reagent. You need body heat though. Yeah, I mean you're gonna take damage. You're gonna take damage. You're gonna take a lot of damage. So we'll talk about the hug in a second. Okay, so they have 6 hit dice. They can summon. That's not what I meant. I meant summon. Ice Shadow. Ice Shadows. And let's say they summon 2d4 Ice Shadows. They are vengeful undead. If they're given a reason to end the senseless violence, they will take psychic damage because they don't understand it. So what would you do is, what is a challenge to the players? What can the player do as the player character to make this happen? I wonder. What is the... We're talking about Failire 04's latest idea in chat. I'm wondering about the meaning here and how it can be used in a game, right? How useful it is to actually have the players research it and find out about it and like make it happen in a game. So that's I think that's a cool idea. Just want to make it like practical to be used in a fight or in a scene. Here is a cat. Here is a cat. Hello, cat. Sit down, cat. Connection is bad. I'm very sorry. Sally, that sucks. So until Failire explains, attempt DC 18 persuasion diplomacy check to convince them the vengeance they seek is unjust. So it's just a diplomacy check? I'm wondering about that. I think a mountain cat. We can write a mountain cat, yes. Every area of the world is going to be a forest cat, a plains cat, a water cat, a mountain cat, a sky cat, and an underground cat. Unresolved emotions, coming to terms with the fact that they were not abandoned, they're still loved and can leave in peace. I think, yeah. So basically, for not forgiveness, community members who ask for forgiveness stop them in their tracks. And a chaos cloud dropping random cats everywhere. Mounting subspecies of a displacer beast. Yeah, it could be. It could be. Those are very cool ideas. A chaos cloud. The chaos cat. Okay, so so if they are asked for forgiveness, like genuinely asked for forgiveness, they can stop. Or they stop. They can't fight back. And then if you hug them after they've been asked for forgiveness, you take... How much damage do you take? I think you take a lot of cold damage. It needs to be a lot of cold damage. How much was Cone of Cold? from 5th edition. How much damage is Cone of Cold? Oh, let's check. Cone of Cold 5e. Cone of Cold 5e is 8d8 cold damage. This is how much you're going to take. You're gonna take 8d8 cold damage. And you can do a con save for half damage. Right? If you make a con save, you take half of that damage. And they thaw. Yes. Yes. It is the best way to increase the amount of chaos in the world. Right now there's a cat right here underneath the screen. As a result of the cat being here, the speaker has toppled on its side. The screen is at an awkward angle in front of my face, and my keyboard is at a different angle, opposite to the screen, which means I need to be very careful. I'm basically working around the cat right now. They can sense the surface thoughts of and emotions of other creatures within 30 feet of them. They also have a blind sense with the same range. Oh, okay, cool. Blind sense is good. Okay, so let's start writing down more of their abilities. Blind sense. Blind sense, yes, in one word. Blind, or was it blind sight? Blind sight, I think it was. Right? That's how it's called in 5e, I think. And I think they should have a powerful attack. The cat is now hiding the screen from me. Yeah. I think I wrote that down in the abilities. If they're thawed, if they're harmlessly thawed, if you beat them like that, the heart is a powerful reagent. Blind sight reverse heat sight. The Mozzies. What's the last episode? Oh yeah, they met the Mozzies. They didn't meet it in the lake. They met the Mozzies on a riverboat, on a river ride, on a riverboat. Okay, so blind sense. They have blind sight, and then they can also attack. They need to have their own attack. What will it be? Draw heat. Draw heat needs to be an attack that they have. And the damage they do should be significant. Draw heat. You need to make a the heat that they draw is like vengeance, right, for having been left out in the cold. So they kind of like, they make you feel guilt. They make you feel guilt for having abandoned them, even if you're not the one at all. Like you feel guilt for what happened to them. So it needs to be a charisma, like a charisma check, right? Charisma is usually used in the 5e for banishment effects. Oh, let's just have it wisdom. Wisdom save or take significant damage, I think. 2d8 cold damage. That's what it's gonna be. Whoops. Now the cat is minimizing the OBS screen for me. This cat needs to go. Hello, cat. Say hello. Hello. Goodbye. All right. I mean, yes, but why hands-on? Why is he helping with his teeth? Can't he just be there, be cute and chaotic, while not piercing my skin, while not damaging my flesh? Alright. So draw heat. You can just draw heat from its surroundings. It's not an area attack. It's for one person each time. Go away. He's trying to come back. I will not let him return to my desk. Not tonight. Cat.
So now we have stats for the Cable. Do we want to give the Cable another attack or harmful ability? I think they only have the Draw Heat, which is cool, but I think maybe... Ooh, yeah. 2d8 psychic damage, 2d8 cold damage, be frostbitten until the end of next turn. Frostbitten targets and additional attack rolls of half movement screen playing. Oh, cool, nice. So with Saber, take 2d8 cold damage. I mean, 2d8 psychic and 2d8 cold is kind of a lot. It's kind of a lot. In my OSR stat block, I'm just gonna do 2d8 damage. Just 2d8 damage. Let's say 2d8 cold plus psychic damage. When I write down a stat block for 5th edition, which is going to be later on in the PDF, it's going to be on the website later, then I will probably increase the damage and make them a meaner enemy, like a higher challenge rating. They can be like a good, like challenge rating, like good 6 or 8 or something like that, challenge rating in 5th edition, like really easily. It'd be pretty cool, and then they could do 2d8 plus 2d8. Cold plus psychic damage, but for me it's going to be a total of 2d8, and get frostbitten, giving you disadvantage on all actions. Basically, I'll specify which actions later, but basically all the important actions. Alright, cool, nice. I like it, it's really very cool. So for the Ice Shadows, we know that they have fast movement. But what else do they have? They move really fast, so they can basically just get wherever they want. Don't forget the family is protected. It could lead to a cool role play to convince the family to do it. Sure, yeah. Yeah, definitely. It's not part of the stats, but it's already a part of the write-up of the monster. Definitely. It'll probably be a quest, right? They meet a community of dwarves, and the community says, you know, that there's this creature that comes once in a while. There's like a bunch of them, or there are like 2 of them, who've been tragically, they were lost and they got frozen in the winter, and then sometimes they just come and they look for their old lives and their old families, and we need to like get rid of them. And then for the players, it can be like finding out. They can either try to find a peaceful solution, find out the way to thaw them with a hug from a family member, or they could just go and destroy them in a fight. And both are cool. Both are cool ways. Shadows can go through walls. Oh shit. That's serious. That's serious. That's dangerous. I mean, they can fly. They definitely fly. I think I want to stay away from the regular shadow aesthetic, like moving between shadows and going through cracks and stuff like that. I want it to be an ice shadow, like ice-themed powers. When they fade away in the presence of other dwarves and they're meant to replace them. Yes! Nice. They fade away in the presence of the dwarves whom they are meant to imitate, right? They're supposed to be the fake family of the dwarf. So if they're actual family members and community members come, then they fade away. A snowy breeze. Maybe they can turn into a snowy breeze and then engulf you. They can move through you. Oh, nice. They are, yeah, they're intangible. They're intangible, and they can fly through you and freeze you. Yeah, it's like for a second, you get frozen by a little mini ice storm around you of like frozen icicles. It's really nice. Yeah, I like that. Throw Shadow Scan in an action, teleport in an unoccupied space. Blind attempt to attack against them. On a hit, the target takes 3d6 cold damage, and their hit point maximum is reduced by the damage dealt when the target finishes a long rest. Yeah, so it's going to be a hit point reduction in 5th edition. Definitely, it should be hit point reduction. So let's do like this. I want them to be able to move fast, and then they can how will I call it when they move through you? How will I call the attack when they move through your body? They move through you and they freeze you from the inside. They like they a cold like engulfs you and fills you from within. I wonder what are we going to call that power, that kind of attack. Freeze, fly by, fly, freeze, uh, fly through. I don't know. Hateful breeze. Nice. Arctic possession. Ooh. I kind of wanted to do that now. I want to do Arctic possession, but they don't really possess you, do they? They don't really possess you. They fly. They don't get in you and stay there. They fly through you, right? They fly through you, and they freeze you from within. Or maybe they do. Sally says maybe they do possess you. There's going to be several different attacks. I think they subdue you with cold, and then they possess you. Oh, nice. Ooh. Oh, the Windrakes should be able to do that. To do what exactly? What is going to be the Windrakes, Sistel Behave? The flying through you thing? Possess you. Yeah, I think Phalir, what you just wrote, I think is what I had in mind. If the attack kills you, then they possess you. You get frozen from within, and then they possess you when you have like 0 hit points. So that's what they do. So let's call it hateful possession. Fly through a living being, causing you say 3d6 cold damage. I want to turn it down a little bit because there's really a bunch of them. Each one of these summons 2d4 ice shadows, and again, in an OSR game, all the damage should be scaled down a little bit. So causing 2d4 cold damage, and reducing your hit point maximum. That's in non-OSR. That's in 5th edition. That's going to be the stats. 2d4 I said. No, 2d6 I meant 2d6 cold damage. So you said 3d6. I'm going to bring it down to 2d6 for each attack. If you get to 0 hit points, you start dying and get possessed. So not only you start dying as usual, you also get possessed by the frost spirit. So you start attacking your friends, and then if they attack you, again, if it's 5th edition rules, you're gonna start losing. You start losing death saves when you get attacked by your teammates. So they have to find a way to hold you back without attacking you physically and causing damage and wounds. That's amazing. Alright, so go through any crack and appear. And for you, blending into the oh right, they can blend into the surrounding if it's like snowy, especially. Alright, so let's write hateful possession. That's cool. Blend into snow and ice, and yeah, squeeze through any narrow crack, if you know what I mean. All right. Cool. Nice. Very good, very good. Nice. I like that. So that is a very, very cool monster. 2 monsters, actually. Oh, how many hit dice do they have? They need to be significantly weaker. Hypo in snow. Slow. Blend in is slow. They don't blend into slow. Into snow. Yeah, so how many hit dice? I think these have 3 hit dice. 2 hit dice. Yeah, let me get 2 hit dice. 2 hit dice. Should be fragile. That's true. They should be fragile. Yeah, they should be easy to kill with attacks. Yeah, but because they are amorphous, they're made of air. In 5th edition rules, they will be resistant to any damage by a non-magical weapon. Right? Physical damage by non-magical weapon is going to take half damage from that. Cool. Nice, nice, nice. I mean, in 5th edition, you don't get this kind of immunity usually from physical weapons. You get resistance. You take monsters who are especially dangerous and are resistant to damage. They usually don't make them immune to all the weapons that are not magical. They usually take half damage. Yeah, I know, but kind of shadows usually work with the same rules. If you look at wraiths in 5th edition, you can hit them with non-magical weapons. It takes half damage. Cable are immune. Immune to what? All non-magical weapons? That could be very, very dangerous. It could be very dangerous. Depends on the CR, right? If they're challenge rating 8, if we're gonna do them challenge rating 8 a monster, it means that it doesn't really matter, because all the PCs are gonna have magical weapons and powerful damage spells when they meet them. But they might be immune to cold. They probably are immune to cold. Both the Ice Shadows and the Cable probably are immune to cold damage. Alright, cool. I think we've written enough. I think that's a lot. It's actually a very long stat block, so it's kind of, yeah. Oh, really? Yeah. I guess it does exist, and it's worth a lot of CR, yeah. Being actually immune to physical weapons is a big deal. Very few monsters get that in 5th edition. Cool. So let's draw it. Let's draw these Cable. They have black. God. No, come on. Oh. Alright. So, I will try to... We'll try to draw a dwarf, a frozen dwarf. Needs to be black. Oh god, that's so weird. That's so weird. Let's fill it with black. Just fill it with black. All right. Good job. I think it is. I think what I'm thinking of is the grok. I think it's pretty much the grok. All right. So the hollow eye sockets, I think we'll make it like a gray, or is it a gray? I don't know. Just white. Just white. I mean, it doesn't make sense that it would look white, but it makes it creepier. hollow eye sockets, and then we the shrunken eyes, inside, shrunken eyeballs, right? Lying inside hollow sockets, and then there's some ice, which is this color, I think. Whoops. Ice. Ooh, yes. Oh, that's nice. That's a good empty socket with ice growing around and inside it. Ooh, shit. Alright. A permanent smile from retracted skin. I am down with it. I am down with this. Hanging out of the tears that he wept. Oh no! An oversized smile, and then and then the icicles. Jeez. Oh no, that's terrible. And they have icicles on their beards. On their beards. Let's draw a gray beard. Draw a gray beard. Gray beard. A bushy gray beard, like a good dwarven beard. Right? And then this beard is filled with ice. Ooh, yes. And you can barely see the color of the ice there. Let's make it a darker, yeah, a bluer blue, not a darker necessarily, but a bluer blue, more saturated. Nice. I mean, creepy when we write them, and then cartoonish when I draw them. It's kind of the rule. That's gonna be the dwarf itself, I guess. Let's draw some more. Let's draw some more ice around, covering it, like some icy, you know. Oh, there's also the heart. Shit, I didn't draw the heart. Clothes. I mean, I don't know what they were wearing. I didn't draw the heart. Oh shit, I didn't draw the heart. There needs to be an empty socket. This area is gonna be, let's, extra large. Draw this area. Draw the heart. Red robes now? After all this, I'm gonna add red robes? No way. Absolutely no way am I gonna be capable of adding red robes. A heart should be dark, like a shriveled, almost black heart, but it needs to be even more. Ah, jeez. This. How about this for a heart? This is too round. It's not what a heart looks like. This is a bit more similar to a heart, I think, and I think that being very dark red, almost black, makes it a little bit creepier. And I think that's going to be it. That's going to be the dwarf. That's going to be the Cavil itself. I think I'm going to draw the spirits now, the ice shadows. I mean, they're covered in ice. Whatever clothes I describe, I'm going to describe them as covered in a thick layer of icicles. That's gonna be the main thing that draws the eye, I think. All right. The ice spirits need to look like dwarves. They need to be the general shape. General shape. A dwarf. Nah, that's not good. That's not good. That's too human. That's too anatomically correct. No, I don't like that at all. I want it to be, first of all, the blue needs to be the spirits are scared of the nice spirits. We need nice spirits. The nice spirits. This, and they'll have these. One lurking in a shadow and that's often like this gleaming in a torchlight. This is creepy. Isn't that sufficiently creepy? I think that's sufficiently creepy. Now I can color it in. Okay. We need a tool for that. For what? A tool for doing what exactly? Alright. So, that took me too long, and I also want to draw some icicles. Everything ends in icicles. So they have like icicles growing from every... That's like their claws. A fill tool. Oh no, unfortunately. No fill tool in Roll20. That is actually something that would have helped a lot. But I'm trying to stick to the rules of the format, which explicitly state that I need to draw it with only the tools I have available on Roll20. That's what I have. That's all I have. Oh, look. Cat has moved the screen. Now it has broken the illusion. You're looking behind the curtain. Alright, so this is the spirit, and there will be more of them. Don't worry, Sistel Behave. We're right here. We're not gonna run away to anywhere. We're right here, and we're ready to receive you when you're back. Alright, nice. I like that. That turned out really well. Yes, please tell us what you thought of Sistel Behave. We'd love to know. We would love to know. Every time I type Windrake, I want to say Mandrake, and I want to say to make a Mandrake, the patterns on its wings when it starts to look like a person. It can repeat phrases it's heard like a parrot. A Mandrake repeats phrases like a parrot. That's really cool. This is really cool. I don't know if that could be in the mountains, but let's just add it. Let's add it to here, because it could live in the mountains just like anything else. Cool. I'm gonna write that down as one of our ideas. All right. So, we have the balloons, and we have the cable. Let's do another one. Let's do another monster, which might be the last one for today. Good to have you back, Sit Still Behave. I want to do another one. We didn't write anything about the dwarves in general, which probably will not be an enemy. It will be more like an NPC, like someone to interact with. So we can write something about the dwarves, the high dwarves. But we can also write a giant spider that hunts birds, a rock lizard, a rock elemental, a windrake, a mandrake, or that's it. That's the other ideas. That's all the rest of the ideas we have. So you can come up with a new idea, like what was their name? I think they left. Did they leave? Phaelire 4. Are you away? Yeah, I don't see them in chat anymore, so they might be away. So just like Phaelire invented the cable, you could just make a new one. Spiders are less original, though I like them. So what is going to be both original and something that you like? Although we don't have to go original. I really don't mind to have a creature that's kind of like a mundane creature. Rock lizard is the coolest, and we have a wind creature. Oh, we already have a wind creature instead of the wind drake. Rock lizard. Rock or wind or the mandrake. Rock wizard or the wind drake or the mandrake. Nice. And maybe form a regular drake for the dwarves. A regular drake for the dwarves. The dwarves do they ride drakes? Maybe they ride drakes. They have riding drakes. Right? Or they use them as beasts of burden, you know, to do physical work for them. They feed them gold. Haha! Nice. Rye drakes. Come on. They're edible? Rye drakes. Produce whiskey too. Rye drakes. There's a fly on them. They gain protection and they fly on them. I kind of like that they're riding drakes. They have drakes that they ride on. There could be drakes of many different species, many different varieties, right? Like there are different kinds of dragons, so there'd be different kinds of drakes. You've had it up to here. Yeah, let's build some drakes. So let's talk about drakes in general. Let's write something about drakes. Look at that. Do you see that? No, you don't see it. You just don't see it. The cat is hunting me. And it's right underneath the camera borders. Alright. You need to go, cat! Bye-bye. No, you're not gonna. Sorry, but you're not gonna. Because the cat is interfering. Look at the green screen acting up as well. Nothing works today. Alright. So let's write something about drakes. Drakes. Alright, they're the mundane version of dragons. Yeah. Cat is moving things again. Goodbye, stream. I have been a force of chaos, intent on destroying everything. Now I need to leave. Where dragons are mighty magical creatures. Drakes are elemental beings, often not too smart or capable. Chaos can split them into elemental drakes, which are exaggerated forms of our elemental template. I'm not sure what that means. What does that mean, an exaggerated form of their elemental template? So they're elemental beings, so that means that each drake is connected to an element. Naturally elementally balanced. Oh. I actually thought each one represents a connection to a specific element, and that's why we have like a wind drake. But you're saying that a wind drake is a drake that's been exaggerated into some direction by chaos. So a wind drake has already been touched by chaos in some way. I see. Alright. So, instead of each drake is connected to okay, so most drakes are balanced, but some are touched by chaos and thus are exaggerated in the direction of a specific element. Let's write down a I think dragons can also be touched by chaos. I think some dragons are chaotic. I mean, classically in Dungeons and Dragons, there are chaotic dragons and order dragons, right? The order aligned dragons and the chaos aligned dragons. So I think the chaos aligned dragons, the cool thing about them is that they're going to be aligned with elements, just like the drakes. Just like some drakes are aligned with elements, so are the chaotic dragons going to be, because they've been touched by chaos. Yeah. I think when they're balanced, they look like organic life forms. If they're balanced, they look like just like a dragon. But if they're exaggerated in a direction, they start taking more and more aspects of that element. So, for example, a wind drake will be actually intangible and look like a puff of wind, right? So that's a dragon. That's a drake that's been exaggerated in one direction. And dragons can also happen to dragons. They can be touched by chaos, and then they can be chaotic dragons that serve chaos. Yeah. So that's a good question. Do the dwarves ride drakes, regular living drakes, or elemental drakes? They can be riding elemental drakes, but that means that they have chaos beasts in their midst. Like, they have chaos beasts right there. That's a good question. So, types of drakes. Mandrake, wind drake, and let's do a stone drake. Okay. So the dwarves, maybe they're capable of taming some elemental drakes. Interesting. Maybe, you remember in the movie, you remember that really bad movie Avatar by James Cameron? There, a mark of honor among the alien cat uh, Indians is that a hunter is super regarded, like highly regarded, if they tame a very powerful beast, one of the winged beasts. So they're like the regular ones and the super special ones. So I think the dwarves that can tame an elemental drake are even more impressive. So if someone tames a stone drake, then there's like a hero among the dwarves. Maybe they can, but I don't know about that right now. I don't wanna mess with that too much. I don't wanna create everything to be a combination of different things. Yeah, they might become the leaders, exactly. Or the clan. Exactly. They will be like the first the best hunter that everyone wants to be like. Let's write something about the dwarves as well. Let's write something about the dwarves as well. Dwarves. Among the dwarves, riding a drake is a sign of an accomplished hunter. Taming and riding a drake is an accomplished hunter. Taming an elemental drake is an epic deed. Whoever manages to do so becomes highly regarded and respected among the dwarves. Nice. Cool. So, let's talk about different kinds of drakes. We have a wind drake, a stone drake, and a mandrake. What other kinds of drakes do we have? What other kinds of drakes can we have? That's good. Drakes that live in uh, not exaggerated, live in the presence of one specific element or have an unbalanced diet with can become elemental drakes. There a gold drake? I mean, now there is. Gold drake is awesome. Haha, yes. They tell tales of the gold drake, which only the line of kings, dwarven kings, can tame. Nice. They generally can all fly, have a bite attack, and a powerful roar. Okay, good, good. So let's start with the stats already. They will be quite powerful. 4 hit dice, I think. Beautifully patterned wings. I love that. They all have wings, long tails, long spiked tails, have powerful roars and bites. sea drake. Let's do all of them, yeah. The mandrake is just beautiful. It's just they all have beautifully patterned wings. Elemental power. Yes, so the roar, it becomes a breath, like dragon's breath, like a fire breath or something like that. So the roar becomes a breath weapon for the elemental drakes. Yeah. So okay, so 4 hit dice. Stats. Regular drake. 4 hit dice. I think it has a claw bite attack for 1d6, 1d6, 2d6. Yeah, no, 1d8, 1d8, 2d6. It attacks quite strongly. Skilled flight. It flies very well, and it uses its skillful flight to snatch prey from the ground and take it up in the air. And the regular drakes, have a powerful roar. So to roar, it can roar, and then anyone who hears it can become frightened. I think it needs to be like a fear effect or some kind of shock. So to roar, you need to do a wisdom check or frightened for frightened until you make the save. Soul effect or less precise. This magical sounds depends on the element. If you know the element is my thought. Interesting. It feels a little bit limiting. I'm not sure if that's what we want, because if it's delivered by sound, for example, a fire breath, what does a fire breath do if it's delivered by sound? That mean only if you hear it, then you burst in flames without fire coming out of the drake's mouth? I mean, it actually sounds quite cool, but I don't know if that's what we want. Burn things that hear it. Yeah. Interesting. So the regular drake, I think we're done with the regular drake. It's quite skilled flight, and it can be used as a mount. I'll write down mount, so it's a potential mount for people who can tame and ride it. And stats, elemental drake. It'll be much more powerful, or yeah, generally just more powerful. I think that sound-based attack is as a nice twist. Yeah, it is. It is actually a nice twist. Okay, so it delivers its attack through sound. Whoever hears it. So it can be it can attack hundreds of targets at the same time. I mean, if you're surrounded by 100 soldiers, you can attack all of them at the same time. A little bit too powerful, I think. I think it's too powerful. Yeah, and can you just plug your ears and then you don't take any damage? Also a question, right? If you can just plug your ears and you don't take any damage, that means that you can very easily become immune. right? Can you just plug your ears and not take any effect? No elemental effect at all? Because if so, it's not a very scary attack at all. And of course, then you are deaf, but maybe it is too weak. It's not a frightening attack. Unfortunately, it's not a frightening attack. It's not something that. Yeah, I don't know. I think a roar. God damn. A roar that actually physically does the elemental attack is more. I think is more like it. More cat attacks. Those who hear the roar get extra damage. I don't like that. I don't like having to start calculating who hears the roar and who only gets hit by the physical attack. No, I'm just gonna... Never mind. Cancel the sound-based attack. Yeah, Sistel Behave is right that it's a very cool idea that a different creature should have. This will make this one way too complicated. We're just gonna go with a breath attack, a breath weapon. So this is gonna have an Elemental Drake is gonna be more powerful. It's gonna have, let's say, 5 hit dice. I want to be able to present many of them as an opponent to the group, and I think 5 hit dice is plenty. More than that starts getting into dragon territory. Like, you know, it's a super powerful enemy. So 5 hit dice is a very capable fighter. Elemental Drake has 5 hit dice. Physical attacks do elemental damage, right? As well as physical damage. So they can have an elemental effect. The claw and the bite can do physical damage as well. Can do elemental damage as well. So if it's I don't know, a sea drake, for example, then it's also a water attack. So if something is specifically susceptible to water, then it has an extra effect on them, right? But it's the same damage, the same attacks. And then roar becomes a breath weapon, which either does all right, so a serious amount of damage it needs to be. Either does so how often can they do that? A breath weapon which either does, or actually, you know, they still have the roar. It's not instead of the roar. Add a breath weapon which does let's do a high amount of elemental damage of some sort. So actually not either. Does exactly. So they can roar as often as they want. They can just roar as often as they want. But they can also do a breath weapon. And that breath weapon, I think it's going to be like a once in a combat thing. Once every couple of minutes. A breath weapon which does both damage and some kind of elemental effect. Alright? So the damage is going to be It does both damage and an elemental effect. Now let's write down breath weapons. Right? Stone Drake, for example. We wanted the stone lizard. The stone lizard, we wanted to cause avalanches. So I think that's what the Stone Drake does. 3d6 damage plus cause earthquake and possible avalanche. Right? So that's what the breath weapon. Spit acid. Oh, you wanted to spit acid to melt the rocks? I think the avalanche is like the main power. The avalanche should be the main power. Let's say that claws drip acid. Right. So we will we'll need to. So that's not going to be the Stone Drake at all. Okay, so that's not the Stone Drake. It's another animal. It's a stone lizard. It's a rock lizard. The Stone Drake does something completely different. So the stone lizard is going to be a different animal that maybe we're going to write down later, or maybe not today. We'll see if we have the time to do it. But let's do the Stone Drake first. What kind of breath weapon does the Stone Drake have? What kind of effect does it do? It can be a petrification effect. It petrifies you. It makes your limbs heavy as stone. Or it can be causes fissures. Causes fissures is cool. Petrification works. Yeah, petrification is cool. Alright. Petrifying breath. Petrifying breath. Let's do a strength save, or start turning into stone. Right? What does turning into stone do exactly? I think exactly, yeah. Yeah, so you start slowly turning into stone. First, get this disadvantage on your come on. On your attacks and physical abilities. Next, stop healing properly. Third, die. Takes a few days. Look at the water. Right, it's like grayscale. Yeah, it's exactly grayscale. That's exactly grayscale. Alright. Cool. Stone Drake is good. That's very cool. Next, we have a Wind Drake. What does the Wind Drake breath weapon does? I mean, it's just a blast of very powerful wind, isn't it? It's just a blast of very powerful wind. I think what it does is that it blows you very powerfully away, and then you take a lot of damage when you bounce against the ground or a wall behind you. That's basically what it is. Wood Drake is good. I'm going to add a Wood Drake. Wood Drake. There's a tornado. Okay, good. Wind Drake. Can move you where they want. Oh, nice. Okay. Tornado breath. Throw the targets around wherever it wants. When targets land, they take let's do a decent amount of damage. 48 damage. Dex save for half. Cool. I like that. Nice. I like that. Next, let's do the Sea Drake. What kind of breath does a Sea Drake have? Windrakes should also have an intangibility. Oh yeah, okay. Let's add. Also add intangibility, making it harder to hit them with physical weapons. Cool. Blast of Seawater. Cool. What does the seawater do? Does it just bludgeon you, or does it do something more complicated? What does seawater do, like in nature? What is it known for? I'm thinking it causes erosion, right? Seawater, a poison effect is not bad. A poison effect is interesting. But I'm thinking it causes erosion, right, of the ground. Damages equipment. That's what I think. That's what I'm thinking. It damages your clothes and equipment and armor. Yeah. Sea, water, breath. Causes. Okay, so first of all, bludgeons for. Let's say it's bludgeons for also 48 damage and damages equipment. Everything goes down one step in the risk die chain, or in the die chain in general. Stuff that is like a risk die actually run out. Stuff that doesn't, it just gets eroded, and like your armor and your weapons get eroded and they get damaged a little bit. The effect of the skin itself causes dizziness. Just looking at the aquamarine holes makes you feel like you're on a boat, almost an optical illusion. Okay, cool. Dizziness. Sally and Sister Lehave are both suggesting that. So, skin causes dizziness. Skin causes dizziness. Do a wisdom save whenever you need to look at it, such as when attacking or casting a spell on it, and or suffer disadvantage. I mean, think of it like that. Usually what I do, the way I think about it is how much fun I'm gonna have presenting them with a challenge that's gonna be actually challenging, and then loving the ways that they find to beat it. You know? Because for me as a game master, if I know that it's going to be something that's going to be easy for them, or that I know already how they're going to beat it, for me it's like it's just another day. It's just like it's a chore. Giving them these monsters is like a chore. But if it's something like this awful Sea Drake, it's going to be like an actual damaging to their equipment, and whenever you look at it, you take disadvantage and you get dizzy, and they have this trouble and they need to find a way to damage it without looking at it. It's a very non-intuitive monster that they need to be able to tackle somehow. Then I think, how awesome are they going to be when they beat it, right? When they find a way to do it. You know, Grubble finds some clever way to use a roundabout attack that doesn't require looking at it, and Atlas is just like powers through and hits it and transforms Transformer into something that's gonna be like super super useful to exactly attack this monster. It's gonna be super satisfying. when they find a way to to beat this kind of monster. Goldrake has a shiny action. Oh, let's talk about the Goldrake. What does the Goldrake do? Let's do the Wooddrake as well, sure. Goldrake, I'm thinking, can maybe distract. Ooh, a shine the blinds. Okay, that's good. Like a gold shine that blinds people. I'm thinking about like a distracting attack because I thought gold is distracting when you're a dwarf. You're looking for gold underground. You know, dwarves look for gems and gold, and if you do a kind of exactly, they cause greed. They cause a distraction by creating like this gold illusion. This shiny breath that causes, I don't know, maybe a molten gold pool or something that shines, and you want to touch it. You have to do like a save in order not to go and try to touch the gold, and maybe because it's molten gold, it's super hot and it burns you when you touch it. I don't know if you know that, Sit Still Behave. Gold dragons in Dungeons and Dragons, and all editions of Dungeons and Dragons, are the most powerful, first of all, but also the noblest of dragons. They're the dragons. They're good natured. They're the ones who are the best friends of humanity. Yeah. They actually often work. Like they cooperate with the kings and emperors of human kingdoms. Aha! Yes! A truly noble-hearted dwarf will not be distracted by the gold. Okay, cool. So, gold breath causes a distraction and temptation. Distraction and temptation. Whiz save. Actually, Sally suggested a charisma. Lawful evil. For most empires, yes, that's true. I think that's the biggest fantasy in fantasy, right? The most fantastical fantasy in high fantasy settings is the fact that kings who rule over giant kingdoms and empires are benevolent and do only the best for their subjects, right? I think that's the most untrue. True evil is the Vazir. Yes. The High Advisor, who for some reason has a snake staff that can hypnotize. What were you thinking when you hired this guy? He has a snake-shaped staff that can hypnotize you. Or actually, that's what you were thinking. You were hypnotized by the snake staff. Causes distraction and temptation. So let's do a charisma save, which I like. Sally suggested a charisma save, and I like that because if you need to be like a good ruler, you need to have high charisma, right? Even though it's like technically willpower, mechanically speaking, wisdom fits more. I think charisma is more thematic in this situation. You need to be charismatic, a charismatic leader. Or rush to touch the molten gold and take 48 damage. Actually, lose your turn and you take 48 damage, right? Because you also you go and you do that yourself. You burn yourself on, so it's gonna be a is it a molten gold? I think molten gold is like, that's because it's damaging, right? Molten gold breath. Ooh, tall. Yes. Alright, cool. Now, Wood dragon. Oh, psychic damage. Psychic. So it's not molten gold. I wanted it not to be. I think it's illusory gold. It's illusion gold. Yes. Haha. That's awesome. That's even better. That's even better. It's an illusion. You go and you touch it. You realize it's not real. You feel the greed eating at you from within. What does it mean, solid? Oh, just gold coins? Just like gold nuggets? It may just be gold nuggets. It is the essence of gold. The Drake not actually harming anyone. I mean, it can be good if their heart is true. Yeah. If they make the charisma save, you don't rush, you don't go to touch the gold. It's like a test. It's a test. You have to make the charisma save. So what kind of breath does the wood dragon have? That is, not sure about that. What does it breathe? What does it breathe out? I wrote wood dragon, but it's not. It's a wood drake. Easy, vines. Oh, it breathes vines. Okay, that's a cool idea. That's very nice. It bind you. Also, I think they have thorns. They also do damage. They wrap around you and they cut you up, and then they bind you as well. They stop you from moving. Any other ideas, or are we gonna go with this? The scent of rotten wood and leaves. The scent of rotten wood and leaves. That's cool. What does that do? What does that scent do when you're in the breath? You're in the breath weapon. Causes growth from land. Yeah, I mean, it can be a breath that makes the vines grow from nearby plants. It's more like druidic. It's basically, it's casting a large-scale entangle. It's casting a large-scale entangle spell on the surroundings. I mean, it's definitely very very druidic, very in line with druid powers in Dungeons and Dragons. So sit still, behave. Something else you didn't know: green dragons in D&D traditionally live in forests. They're green. They're like emerald green, super green. And they breathe poison, a cloud of poison, which is, again, kind of thematic for monsters living in forests. So yeah, I kind of really like it. For the poison. Oh, okay. So let's make it poisonous vines. Let's just make it poisonous vines. It makes... Okay. So, so let's make it a, you introduce vines and the vines cause poison. Yeah. Poisonous vines. Vines. The breath, causes the earth in range to grow, long wrapping vines to quickly grow long wrapping vines. The ground becomes difficult to move through, and everyone on it is takes 2d8 damage from the thorns and is poisoned. Con save or take disadvantage to everything for a few minutes, right? All right, okay. So everyone takes 68 damage and is entangled. So entangled is gonna be strength or dexterity save, or be unable to move, and poisoned, which is concentration for a few minutes. Entangled and poisoned. Cool. Nice. I like that. You're saying you know some of these tropes from other kinds of fantasy outside of Dungeons & Dragons, which means thorny vines. Yes. Cool. Yeah. Makes sense. I like that. Alright, cool. Cool. It's after 11 here already. We've been at it for more than 2 hours. It's definitely enough drakes, and I think it's really enough for the night in general. You know what I like? That we wrote quite a bit. And we still have a lot more to write. We can do more chaos monsters. We can do the chaos template, the chaos mutations table that I want to do. We still have that to do. We didn't do the rock lizard, which I really like the idea for still. We can do the giant spider. Giant spider rock lizard. We can write more about the dwarves and write about the mandrake, which we didn't decide about yet. I think the mandrake is going to be very different from all the others. So that's going to be a lot more we can write. We can go back and write some more things in previous areas. I'm probably going to go back to the desert, because I think the questers are going to go to the desert soon. I'm nudging them in that direction. I'm giving them more and more things happening in the desert to make them go there and meet some of the monsters that you wrote. The two of you, plus others, you wrote the first session for like the monster writing was in the desert, so I'm gonna try to get them there, and we can do more. I now know about a couple of locations in the desert that have a special significance that we can write monsters for them specifically. So going back to the desert and writing monsters about those locations can be really, really cool. That can be very useful thing to do. So we have many more sessions to do, and I'm not sure Saturdays. I'm not sure what I want to do, because Terrace Adventures is very fun, but this is also super cool. This is really cool. We all wish Dirt could be there. What, specifically in the desert, or you mean in all of these sessions where you meet the monsters? Yeah. I wish so too. I mean, I wish Dirt was there for the whole thing. We miss Dirt and Trent. Alright. Yeah, yeah, me too. I like both, and it's always a dilemma. Not sure what I prefer. Maybe I'll just make it a regular writing session. But then, when will Terran's adventures happen? I don't know. Maybe sometime in the future we'll get back to that. Maybe we'll alternate 1 week each. That could also be an idea. Could also happen. All right, all right. Thank you very much, Sister Behaving Sally. You were awesome. Faye, Faye. What was the? Oh God, I forgot the name of the user who joined for a little while in the middle. I keep forgetting. Anyway, that dude or dame. Thank you for them too for joining. Yeah. And yeah. See you Monday or Saturday next time. I will see you. Yeah, they pretty much wrote the entire monster, right, for us, and we just made it a super cool thing. But it was basically all written down by them. All right. Until the next time I see you, whenever that happens, play hard and stay safe. Good night. See you next time. Bye bye, everyone.